is something which is meant to be experienced yourself. So, what is determination? What is the science of determination? So, now we have established that the highest pleasure is on the soul platform. How many of us agree? Yes. So, that means if the highest pleasure is on the soul platform, that means we want pleasure, everyone agreed we want pleasure, and the highest pleasure in the soul platform. So, that means we should put our time there, we should put our money there, isn't it? Is it common sense? What we want something and we are getting the best product, the best thing, according to our desire. Should we put our time and money there? How many of us are doing? So should we aspire, should we try, should we put our time and money in coming to the soul platform, investing on the soul? So how can we attain that? How can we attain the platform of the soul? How? What is the science? What is the basic concept behind coming to the soul platform? So this is a concept. So this is a picture of, actually you cannot see, this picture is not so clear, I'm sorry. So this bird is trying to empty the ocean of all the water. Is it possible for a bird to do that? No, it's not possible. With the beak, it's trying to empty little water. Why? Because it lost its eggs. Even if it continues doing for the rest of the life, will it be successful? No. Right? But because it's trying so seriously and sincerely, so Garuda, who is the carrier of Lord Vishnu, came down and personally helped him. How he helped him? Garuda spoke to the ocean because ocean is also a personality. Like that's why we call Yamuna Devi, Ganga Devi or Ganga Mata. So these are personalities. So he directly approached the ocean goddess, you can say, and asked her to return the eggs, and she returned the eggs. So determination means how much we're trying. That's all it means. If we are sincere and serious in our endeavor, that endeavor will attract God's grace. So we are not, determination does not mean we do big tapasya, we do big yajna, we give lot of money. No, that is not tapasya. Tapasya means truthfully, with simplicity and with honesty, you try very sincerely to attain God's grace. Someone may not even know who is God. Someone may not even know how to get there. But if they are simple, if they're sincere, if they're honest, they will never be cheated. Because one thing we have to remember that everyone can cheat us, but God will never cheat us. How many of us are faithful? God can never cheat us. We can give so many excuses, we can blame so many people in an institution, in a company, but we can never blame God. Why? Because God will never cheat us. And we know in the bottom of our heart, we know what we want. Therefore, actually, we cannot blame anyone. If we many times when we frustrated, or some people may say, I go to the temple, nothing happens. But this was superficial. I can say very boldly from my own experience, I experience so many people. God never cheats you. So many times we've had examples of devotees. They have some deep desire in the heart. It's not getting fulfilled. And they're leaving the temple. They leave the temple. Oh, my desire is not getting fulfilled. And at the last minute, the devotee turns to them and says, oh, you had this desire. You want this thing? Take it. So many examples, not one, not two, so many examples are there. Like one time, I want an example, and they're sharing for the sake of giving an example. So one time I had a desire to do something, I had to do some service, and devotees are scheduled to do different services. So I wasn't able to do that service because someone else was doing it. But what happened in the last minute? that devotee fell sick or something happened, and I got the chance to do it. So this is a small example. This is nothing, but the point is God will never cheat us, and this is a great assurance on the spiritual path. In the material world, if you want to achieve something, if you have a goal, you want to achieve something, the problem is that the person who is your examiner, the person who is going to decide whether you're going to get or not, he is not in favor of you getting it. Material world generally, like if you're applying for university admission, that's your goal. I want to get into such and such university. So the person who is in the selection process, he is not in favor of you getting selected, first of all. He has very high standards. He is not looking to help you. He is actually looking to reject you. Very few people who are very qualified, who are very who have very good behavior, etc., they will start considering. So it's not so easy. Why? Because the person who is selecting is not favoring you. But in the spiritual process, you are constantly being helped by Krishna. Krishna constantly wants to help you. So it's not a dead process, active, it's a living process. You are trying, God is also trying at the same time. That's the great assuring factor. And so it says, with every step you take towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards you. We all have experience. We all have experience. So how to get unlimited happiness? So as I chanted this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in this age of Kali, the main process, the simplest process is chanting of God's holy names. It's the simplest process. So what is not allowing us to actually attain that happiness? Why? Because of avidya. Avidya means ignorance. Ignorance means it's just simple, like a child doesn't know that fire burns. Doesn't know. So he sticks his hand in the fire. That's a negative example. A positive example. For example, the child doesn't know what is good and what is not good. The child sees, oh, the fast food, in the fast food place, they are cooking such delicacies. He thinks that's very good. But he doesn't know that actually nutrition is something else. It's not just based on taste. The child doesn't know this thing. Why? Because of ignorance. So the reason why we are unable to feel, we're unable to relish, is one basic reason is that we don't have faith. Why we don't have faith? Because we don't have experience. Why we don't have experience? Because our heart, I'm speaking about myself here, that our heart is not pure. So when your heart is not pure, just like best example, that if you're very sick, if you have some serious disease, you're not hungry. Best example, you're not hungry. Even if someone brings in front of you the most delicious food, will you be able to eat it? No. Even if you like the taste, you cannot eat. So Krishna is the supreme pure, the supreme beautiful, but because we're not in a position to receive him, therefore we're not able to receive. We're not in a state to receive. So whole purpose of bhakti is to train ourselves, to cultivate ourselves, so that we can receive God's grace in our life. So the key here is, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, chanting the holy name, hearing Krishna's constantly pastime, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So here the point is regular cultivation. Regular cultivation. So unless we regularly, like I tell people all the time, if you go to work sometimes and you don't go. If you tell, suppose when you're getting an offer, it says, okay, so your reporting time is tomorrow 8 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday. So can you sign this paper? Well, I don't know. I may come, I may not come. If you say like this, will you get the job? No. Right? Or after getting the job, if you go sometimes, you don't go sometimes. Can you expect to retain the job? No. So for ordinary things, we are investing so much faith. When it comes to God, should we go to temple? Oh, maybe I will go. Should I chant? Maybe. Oh, if someone tells me to chant. No. We become so afraid because it's because of ignorance. We don't realize that actually spirituality is giving us the greatest gain. At the time of death, who is going to come with you? Is your family going to come? Is your money going to come? Is your knowledge going to come? No, it's all useless. It's going to vaporize in a second. But we're so unfortunate that we don't take interest in that which is going to actually come with us. But we take only interest in things that are not going to come with us. How unfortunate. How unfortunate. And we give so many excuses. Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. When God calls, I will go to the temple. So ultimately, God helps those who help themselves. So if we don't help ourselves, even if we come to the temple, we may come to the temple, but if we don't engage in chanting, we don't engage in the process, then we'll always remain diseased. We'll speak so much, oh, this product is good, be a good Indian, be a good human being, eat healthy. It's all useless. Why? This is all temporary. Today's Indian, next life become American maybe. Or, eating healthy food. Okay, your body is so healthy, but it's going to die one day. Do you think the people who got corona they're not healthy? Before they got corona, they're not healthy? No, they're perfectly healthy. So many people are so healthy, they die. So this is a reality. Death is certain. Can anyone say that I am beyond death? No. It's natural, it's certain. So if you don't work to face that test, it is a test. If you don't work to face that test, you will definitely fail. So we have to think about our ultimate self, our ultimate benefit. People say I'm selfish, but selfishness means worry about your soul, worry about how you're going to face the situation of death. So unless we worry, unless we think, human being is meant to think. Like our spiritual master says, if your mind is packed up with cow dung, what can you understand? What can you think? So we are not thinking. We are not using our intelligence. Nowadays in spirituality, nobody is asking questions. Oh, my father said, my mother said. Why they said, no, that doesn't matter. I'll just do it like a dodo, like a dumb person. But when I go to school, when I go to office, I'll ask so many questions. Why is this? Why is that? So Krishna says, he who comes to me in knowledge, he is my favorite devotee. So first of all, we have to inquire, we have to ask, we have to question, what is Krishna? What is the spiritual process? Why should I practice the spiritual process? So that is the first thing. So it all starts with association. When we have association, when we have company, then everything starts from there. If you want to be determined, you want to be serious, you want to achieve something in your spiritual life, then you have to associate with those people. Every learned man knows well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. So the first thing is, if you want to make progress in spiritual life, then the first thing is that you need association of someone who is self-realized, someone who is pure, someone who has seen, someone who has experienced what perfection is like. And how will you find that person? God will show him to you. Because these persons who are self-realized, who are pure, who are perfect, they are God's very dear associates. So, who can show you except God? God will show you if you are sincere. If you are sincere, God will show you. We meet so many people in this world. Why? Because of our desire. We have desires. Can we say we came to America without desire? No. Can we say we came to this temple without desire? No. It all starts with desire. So if your desire is pure, if your desire is sincere, then God will make the arrangement for you. Krishna will make the arrangement for you. And what is real association? Is real association just going to some temple, being in the temple for 2 minutes, and then going to a restaurant and talking with friends about, India playing Pakistan or World Cup cricket for 2 hours? No, that is not association. Association means discussion of the pastimes and activities of Krishna. Who is Krishna? What are his potencies? What are his characteristics? So you have to cultivate such knowledge. When you cultivate such knowledge, then you become fixed on the path of liberation, and eventually you attain love for the Lord. You attain your natural attraction for the Lord. So that's how you become determined. See, determination is not a raw feeling. Oh, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. No, it's not like that. There's a science. If you go to some company, some job, and just tell the interviewer, whoever, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Will you accept? No. What is your qualification? What is your background? So everything in spiritual life, everything is scientific. It's not sentiment. It's not a raw feeling. No, it's a science. So this is the science. You pray to God. God, by God's mercy, He reveals the pure devotee to you, His dear associate. Then you hear from Him. You hear from Him. And based on what you hear, you cultivate. You change your life. This is required. Even people who are successful as race runners or whoever, they cultivate, right? They change their life. Sometimes they stop, they don't eat certain things. Sometimes they sacrifice their sleep. They sacrifice their family life. Why? Because they want that success. So, if spiritual life is going to give you the ultimate pleasure, then isn't there some sacrifice needed? Definitely. Definitely. So when you make little sacrifice, when you take little care, then you make progress. So now we look at the example of people who have attained success, who were determined. What does determination look like in real life? What is determination? So I'll just quickly run through it. So this is Narad Muni. Narad Muni is one of the greatest personalities, you can say, in the world. Because Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. Who is Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva is a person who actually wrote the Vedas. Vyasadeva is a person who actually has given us the most amazing Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is the cream of Vedic literature. Just like in milk, what is the most important aspect of milk? Is the cream. You take out the cream, it's just like water, it has no value. So, if you take out Bhagavatam, Vedas have no value. Everyone is speaking about Vedas. Oh, this Veda, that Veda. No, without Bhagavatam, it's all useless. Which means without pure devotion, it's useless. Without purity, anything is useless. Anything you do is useless. Anything you cook, anything you think, anything you do, if there is no purity, it's useless. If there is no quality, it's useless. So, Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. And Narad Muni, what is his business? In his transcendental spiritual body, he travels to different universes and he gives common people like me the instructions on how to attain self-realization. So this is Narad Muni speaking about his life. So this is when Narad Muni was very young. As far as I was concerned, Narad Muni speaking about himself, I was self-controlled. I had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and I did not speak more than required. So Narad Muni was very serious and he did not speak more than required. He was very sober, even as a child. So this determination. Determination starts from what is our nature, what is our behavior. Depending on your behavior, depending on your mentality, you decide what you will get. Naturally. Then, because of his wonderful character, by the arrangement of providence, he got the arrangement to serve great souls. He got the arrangement to serve great souls. So he served them and he took their remnants. He took the remnants. Normally, remnants or juta is contaminated. We don't take. But those who are pure, if you take the remnants of pure souls, then what happens? The sins are eradicated. The contamination of the heart is eradicated. And as a result of that, what happened? The nature of the transcendentalist became very attractive to you. Normally, what happens? We are attracted by the external nature of person. Oh, this person is handsome. This person is very beautiful. But we cannot see what is inside. We are not attracted to the internal. We only see the externals. But when you become purified at heart, you can see the internal. And you can become attracted to someone who is internally beautiful, who is internally attractive, who is internally advanced. So you become attracted to them. And after you became attracted to them, his taste for hearing increased at every step. Increased at every step. So at every stage here, his determination is increasing. Determination is increasing. So as your determination increases, you get more and more reciprocation. Determination can also be called, in this context, faith. So as your faith increases, reciprocation increases. Like if we really have 100% faith that this is Krishna, this is not different from Krishna, will we leave? Will we give so many excuses? Oh, I cannot come this week. I am busy this week. No, we won't give excuses. Why? Because we have full faith. This is Krishna, which means I should give my life to him. So his taste increased. He became very attracted to hearing. See, what we hear is what we become. Whatever sound vibration you take into your heart, that's the person you become. That's guaranteed. Whatever you hear today, especially hearing, whoever you hear, like children, they are very much attracted to certain people. So what they do, they hear from them. They associate them by hearing. Reading is also hearing. So they hear and eventually they aspire. Oh, I want to become an engineer. I want to become a doctor. Why? Because they are hearing from that person. They are associating with that person by sound. So material sound vibration gives rise to material success. Spiritual sound vibration gives rise to spiritual success. So he heard from them. And because he heard from them with so much taste, with so much eagerness, with so much enthusiasm, as a result of that, what happened? When they were leaving, they instructed Narad Muni in how to attain Krishna. So when a devotee instructs you, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Like we all say, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the best way, the easiest way to attain God realization. But when you receive that from a devotee, when a devotee tells you that, and especially if a devotee is very pleased with you, like here, the sages were very pleased with him, were very happy with him. And as a result of that, the instructions that were given to him, he was able to apply. So we see in the last seventh point, as soon as he began to meditate, based on the instructions that he received from Bhaktivedantas, from the great souls, Narad Muni started meditating. And when he started meditating according to the instructions, because they empowered him, because they were so happy with him, as a result of that, without delay, Krishna manifested. So this is a simple process. If you want to be very strongly determined, determination can only happen when you have reciprocation. And reciprocation can only happen when, as we can see in this slide, when those who are advanced in spirituality, when they are happy with us. Not like Jai Shri Radha, Buddhism, Prabhupada. So not like this, oh, you gave them a chocolate or you gave them some money. No, not like that. When they're deeply pleased with you as a result of hearing from them, as a result of your intense eagerness to pursue spiritual life. Then, when they are happy with you, then they empower you. They empower you and then you get realization. Dhruva Maharaj is another example. I'm just quickly summarizing. So Dhruva Maharaj, what happened? He was so determined. Again, his guru was Narada Muni. So Dhruva Maharaj's situation was very helpful for us. Dhruva Maharaj, somehow or other, he was not allowed to sit on his father's lap. And when he went to sit on his father's lap, what happened? His stepmother, because his father had 2 wives, so his stepmother told him that because you are not born from my womb, therefore you have no authority to sit on his lap. And Dhruva Maharaj was a young boy, but because he was born in a Kshatriya family, he became very upset. He became so upset that he decided that he will do anything in order to sit on his father's lap. So he was thinking to himself that what I want is now I have nothing to do with my mother and father. What I want is I want a planet, I want a position far, far greater than my father. So he asked his mother, Mother, what to do? How to solve the situation? Mother said, I have heard the only person who can solve your situation is Vishnu. And oh, where will I get Vishnu? We will get Vishnu in the forest. So immediately, Dhruva Maharaj started to the forest. So forest is very dangerous, so many animals, so many tigers, so many lions. Dhruva Maharaj was so determined. And as a result of his determination, and because his faith, his desire was genuine, he really wanted it. Because he really wanted Vishnu. He really wanted Vishnu. What happened? Vishnu said Narada Muni. What did Narada Muni do? Narada Muni first tested him. Narada Muni said, oh, you're a young boy. You're a young child. So I don't think that you are capable to perform such severe penances or austerities. So don't worry, I will take you to your father. But by this time, Dhruva Maharaj was so determined that he said, no, I don't want a cheap solution. I want a planet which is much, much greater. I want a position which is much, much greater than my father. If you will tell me how to get Vishnu, then I will talk to you. If not, I have nothing to do with you. He was so determined. As a result of that, Narada Muni gave him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he chanted that mantra very sincerely, very sincerely. You can see that as his desire to perfect his life became more and more intense, his meditation on this mantra became more and more intense, he stopped eating. He stopped eating, and eventually he stopped eating, he stopped drinking, he stopped sleeping, and because of that intense mood, he attained the audience of the Lord. So why am I pasting all these verses? To show that this is actually happened. This is from Bhagavatam. See, one of the most important in spirituality is we have to cite. We have to put faith in Shastra. What is Shastra? Shastra is absolute truth, that which does not change. Not like today he got Nobel Prize, tomorrow he got another Nobel Prize because he defeated yesterday. Not like that. Spiritual truth means absolute, it doesn't change. Right? So we have to put firm faith in Shastra. That's why if you go to any spiritual discourse, the first question you must ask, what is the basis? What is the Shastra? If he says, I think, I feel, immediately rejected, it's complete nonsense. Because in spirituality, I feel, I think, maybe doesn't work. Spirituality means absolute truth. God is not someone who is God today and tomorrow he fell down from that position. God is God eternally. God is not Hindu. God is not Indian. Some people say, I am Hindu, I am Muslim. But God is beyond any national, any time, place. God is God. God is eternally God. So, a result of this determined, sincere practice. Determination is what? Determination means getting intense strength from a great soul. So here Dhruva Maharaj got intense strength from Narad Muni. How he got an intense strength? Again, because of following the instructions. Simple. Spiritual life is very simple. It's not complicated. You don't have to, walk upside down, or you don't have to do new things. We just have to do the same thing again and again and again, sincerely. Vyavasaya ka buddhi eki hai purnanna. Ahushakari anantasya buddhayo vyavasaya. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is very branch. So again, how can you know if you're determined? How can you know if someone is serious? They are one-pointed. They earn an honest living, they take care of their family, and beyond that, they simply are focused on attaining spiritual realization. Simple. They're very simple. Their life is simple. That's why in spiritual life means simple living and high thinking. If someone says, oh, I have to go to this party, I have to do this, I have 100 things to do, means you should understand they are not determined, they are not serious. Seriousness means one-pointed. Just like when Arjun was asked when he was being trained in archery, then what do you see? His guru asked, Dronacharya asked, what do you see? He says, I only see the eye of the bird, I don't see anything. That is called determination. That is called determination. Means one point. What do I need to do? I need to do this. That's all. So practically, how can we determine if we are determined? How can we understand if we have determination? And what can we do to have determination? So, like I said, the first thing is to come in contact with a devotee, to come in contact with a servant of God. And servant of God is someone who will attract you to God. Servant of God will never say, I am Guru, I am God, just worship me. That is nonsense. So, servant of God will give you instructions on how to attain God's service. So, for example, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, steady determination means first is we have to perform the proper attitude. What is your attitude? Why are you doing it? So the desire should be simply for God's pleasure, simply to give God happiness. That is the platform of the soul. What is the platform of the soul? Simply wants to serve the super soul, God. Second thing, regular. Regularity is very important. What is your practice that you do every day? That's very important. Second is regularity. Third is attentiveness. When you're doing a spiritual practice, you should be attentive. Not that you're chatting, you're walking, you're laughing, you're joking. No. You should be attentive. And then you should be goal oriented, which means there should be a goal. Both qualitative and quantitative, there should be a goal. Every day there should be a goal. So that your mind doesn't cheat you. Otherwise, mind sometimes says, oh, maybe you may not be. The mind is like that. Mind sometimes, many times, tells us that why do we need to do spiritual life? Take a break, relax. And the last is best carried out according to one's capacity, which means it must keep increasing. Not that I came to the temple for 2 minutes and that's the only thing I will do for the rest of my life. Keep increasing, keep increasing. So these are 5 simple factors to make us determined and increase our determination. So this is the starting point. Those who are coming new today, this is the starting point. Where can I start? I want to practice spirituality. Krishna is saying this is a simple starting point. Do these four things. Think of me, think of Krishna. What is the best way to think of Krishna in this age? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Then offer obeisance to me. Bow down. When you come to the temple or at home, bow down. And worship me. Like in the temple, we have ghee lamps, we have some diyas. Just offer some worship. Or if you're at home, take a simple ghee lamp and offer a ghee lamp to Krishna. And in this way, just do these two things. And regularly hear something about Krishna. Something. So we have a Bhagavad Gita. And take our Bhagavad Gita. Purchase a Bhagavad Gita and read something about Krishna every day, few minutes. Hear something about Krishna every day. So that is the starting point. And one thing very important about the mood. I'm done. I'm just stressing on the mood here. So the goal of our spiritual life is very simple, is to go back to the spiritual reality. And going back to the spiritual reality is not a Herculean task. It's not a Herculean task. Why? It's just like the best example is like a child. A child left home and is loitering in the street. So what the child has to do to become happy, the child has to simply go back to the father. Simple. So that is the goal of our practice, is to simply go back to where Krishna is, where God is. Because just by being with God, we'll be eternally happy. Just like a child when he is with his father, she is with his father, naturally happy. Child does not have to make any extraneous endeavor to be happy. Because why? The father and mother will make all the arrangements for it to be happy. So, I'll just read this. This is given by our Srila Prabhupada, and it's very purifying. So, let's just observe the mood of this purport. In executing penance, one must be very determined to return home back to God, and must decide to undergo all types of tribulations for that end. Even for material prosperity, name, and fame, one has to undergo severe types of penances. Otherwise, no one can become an important figure in this material world. How many of us agree? If you don't agree to do sacrifice, you cannot even be successful in this material world. Good. Why then are there severe types of penance for the perfection of devotional service? This is most important. An easy-going life and attainment of perfection and transcendental realization cannot go together. So easygoing. Easygoing means I will do whatever I want, whenever I want, and whatever way I want. That cannot help us to attain perfection in transcendental realization. The Lord is more clever than any divinity. If you try to cheat Krishna, before even you finish the thought, Krishna is already cheated. Therefore, he wants to see how painstaking, this is a keyword, painstaking the devotee is in emotional service. How much pain you are taking. Whatever you are doing for God, how much pain. You are offering something to God. Are you just throwing the plate there? Are you seriously with your heart doing something for the Lord? The order is received from the Lord either directly or through the bona fide spiritual master, and to execute that order, however painstaking, is a severe type of penance. One who follows this principle rigidly is sure to achieve success in attaining the Lord's mercy. So, the point is that we just have to do whatever little we can do, we should do. Whatever little we can do, we should do, but we should do it with in a painstaking way, in a loving way. Just like simple example, like a mother cooks for the child. So the mother cooks for the child, the mother is constantly meditating, will it be okay, will it be alright. The mother doesn't just throw everything and just mix everything here. No. So in the same way, we have to take a lot of pain in serving the Lord, whatever we can do, because that is love. That is love. So if we just do that with a simple, sincere heart, then by the Lord's mercy, the Lord will take us back to His abode. We will attain perfection. Because as I said, God is very eager. God is constantly trying to help us. God is always reaching out his hand to grab us. So that is spiritual life. So determination means very simple. Do whatever you can to the best of your ability in a humble mode, like these things. Regularly, with that proper attitude, with attention, with numerical or with accountability. We should be accountable to ourselves. And we should try to do the best we can. Like if we have the ability to do so much for God and we're just doing so little, then God is not so pleased. Why? Because we have the ability, but we're not doing. So that's why our spiritual master said, God does not look at what you have given him. God looks at what you have kept with yourself. What you have retained. So this applies to everything: time, energy, money, everything. So I will end here. Does anyone have any question or comment?
Question about sacrifice. We understand that we sacrifice few things for work or for what it means to sacrifice when you're practicing devotee and in the house.
Yeah, same thing. Whatever I said, not qualified to answer this question, but yeah, whatever the best you can do, whatever the best you can sacrifice, you sacrifice. Like if you see something is not necessary for Krishna consciousness, then you can sacrifice that. And the most important thing is the time. So how much ever time we can sacrifice, time which is not necessary, not time which is unnecessarily spent, if we can sacrifice that, that's the best thing. Like, and since we're devotees, the main place where we lose time as devotees is unnecessary talking. So if we can sacrifice that, instead of doing unnecessary talking to the point and talking only about Krishna constructively, then yeah. Like I said, Amrita Prabhu said there's 6 different levels of sanctification. The first thing is time. Second thing is hearing. The third thing is mind. The fourth thing is heart. I mean, there are 6 stages, but this is like the 4 important stages, and then finally he goes on to say mind, body, and words. The first thing is time. So if you are firmly convinced that you are using 24 hours of time in Krishna consciousness, and it also includes and take care of your family, etc., etc. I mean, the key is hearing. So as long as you always keep transcendental sound vibration with you, is bhakti. Is bhakti. So starts with time, then hearing, then mind, etc., etc. And if we have the deep desire to give our life in the Lord's service, then God always gives us opportunity. So, just starting with time and sacrificing whatever is not required, like beginning with Yaprajalpa and other things also. Slowly, we try to cut out as much as we can. Like speaking to him, honestly speaking, something which we can finish in 1 minute. We speak like you speak for myself, speak 30 minutes. Not required. Not required. Neither that person going to benefit nor you going to benefit. So constructive use of time is the key. Anyone else has any question or comment? Okay, so please forgive me for anything wrong and inappropriate. Would like to offer obeisances. Mancha Prabhu, Vishya Kribas, Vibhya, Paditana Bhavana, Vaishnava, Nanda Koti Vaishnava, Vibhya.
They said we need to chant the Prashad prayers.
Yes.
Shri Shyam Kishore Prabhu ji ki
Jai.
Mahaprasade Govinde
Mahaprasade Govinde
Namo Brahmane Vaishnave. Svalpa Punyavatam
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Shri Shri Radha Gopijamda Mahaprasadam ki Jai.